The girl was clearly the princess lost outside the palace, yet she smashed the only jade pendant that could prove her identity to the emperor. She did this because in her past life, she had used the jade pendant her mother left her to try to prove her royal bloodline to the emperor. But when the emperor saw it, he realized the pendant was a fake, and immediately assumed the girl was pretending to be the princess. In his anger, he shattered the pendant. The girl couldn't understand. After all, it was a pendant her mother had given her. Why would it be fake? She didn't realize until a scheming woman appeared wearing a pendant identical to hers, that her identity had been replaced by this woman. Then the scheming woman accused her of impersonating royal blood, and urged the emperor to severely punish her. The girl was torn apart by the crowd, and she died without ever understanding how her pendant ended up in the hands of the scheming woman. She was eventually beheaded by a guard, bleeding to death, perhaps out of mercy. She was reborn on the very day the emperor put up a royal decree to search for the lost princess. At this time, the scheming woman told her the emperor had ordered people to post a notice on the streets to find the princess lost among the people. The girl remembered how, in her past life, she had trusted the woman and ended up dying miserably because of it. Since fate had given her a second chance, she vowed to be cautious. She then pretended to be unwell, sending the girl out of her house. The scheming woman couldn't understand why the girl, who had always been so open and trusting toward her, seemed different today. After the scheming woman left, the girl immediately took out the jade pendant, which had been hidden in a secret compartment in her bed for years. This pendant was the token of love between her mother and father, and her mother had told her it was the only one in the world. She had been instructed to keep it safe and never let anyone know about it, to avoid unnecessary trouble. For all these years, she had carefully guarded the pendant, never letting anyone see it. She couldn't understand how the scheming woman had stolen it. Without this pendant, how could she ever hope to prove her identity? In a sudden moment of resolve, she cruelly smashed the pendant, and under the cover of night, packed her things, preparing to meet the emperor and claim her identity first. But as soon as she stepped outside, she saw the scheming woman, so she lied, saying she had urgent business with a distant relative, and needed to go visit them. However, the scheming woman wouldn't give up, insisting on following her. But in this new life, how could she let the scheming woman's plot succeed? She pushed the woman away with all her strength, and left without looking back. That night, she didn't rest, and arrived early at the emperor's expected path. Since it was still early, she went to a nearby inn to rest. There, she overheard a conversation. The scheming woman had already met the emperor using the jade pendant. She couldn't understand. She had destroyed the pendant. How did the scheming woman have it? While she was wondering how to prove her identity, an idea suddenly came to her. She remembered a name that no one knew but her. The name her mother had given her at birth, which was derived from a poem her parents had composed together. Only her mother and father knew this. There was no third person who could have known. However, before she could catch her breath, she was confronted with another problem. A wanted poster accusing her of impersonating the princess. Just as she was confused, the emperor and the scheming woman arrived in a sedan chair. Since she was standing near her own wanted poster, the guards immediately recognized her as the one they were looking for, and rushed to arrest her.